Welcome to the Ecumenical Church of Occitane's Advent and Christmas Carol Advent calendar. Each day during Advent we will reflect on one well-known Advent or Christmas carol, as well as looking at paintings of the sort that often appear on Christmas cards. We hope you'll join us every day as we prepare to celebrate again the birth of Jesus Christ over 2,000 years ago. December the 8th. Lo, he comes with clouds descending. Today's carol and picture looks a bit like déjà vu all over again, with words by Charles Wesley and painting by Michelangelo. But there are important differences. Firstly, Charles Wesley's lyrics of 1758 are largely based on John Kennick's hymn of 1752, which began, "Lo, he cometh, countless trumpets." Both are based on a verse from the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. "Look, he is coming with the clouds. Every eye will see him, even those who pierced him. And on his account all the tribes of the earth will wail. So it is to be. Amen." The term thousand in the first verse occurs a couple of times in the Bible, both in the book of Daniel and Revelation, alongside the apocalyptic vision of God found in both those books. The Alleluia refrain is also found in John Kennick's hymn. In the second verse, the scene focuses on judgment. "Every eye shall now behold him, robed in dreadful majesty." The refrain of deeply wailing is more than adequately dealt with in Michelangelo's paintings, which we will come to soon. The third verse changes the focus to the redeemed, the wounds of Christ being cause of endless exaltation. I personally find the medieval fascination with wounds, as in, "With what rapture gaze we on those glorious scars," a bit difficult to take, and perhaps rather surprising to find it in the mid-18th century. The concluding verse is about Christ reclaiming the kingdom, "Thou shalt reign, and thou alone." I confess to finding it all a bit too triumphalist for my taste. It is, however, a good carol to sing, in great part due to the tune that normally accompanies it, known as Helmsley. A friend of John Wesley called Thomas Olivers heard a certain tune being whistled in the street and based it on the melody he composed for Charles Wesley's hymn. The tune he heard whistled was probably the concert hall song, "Guardian Angels, Now Protect Me." Now let us have a look at Michelangelo's Last Judgment. It was painted on the altar wall of the Sistine Chapel, but some 25 years after completing the ceiling frescoes in 1512. By this date, Michelangelo was quite elderly. In the lower left-hand part of the painting, you have the saved rising from their graves and ascending, while on the right you have the damned descending into a rather brutal hell. The centre of the composition is dominated by Christ, who raises his right hand as if flinging the damned towards hell. Mary, his mother, looks away towards the saved. An interesting detail is that among the disciples surrounding Christ, there is St. Bartholomew, who holds the limp skin of his body, having been martyred by having his skin flayed from him. The face of the flayed body is clearly that of Michelangelo himself. The painting was severely criticised at the time, partly over the iconography. The figure of Christ seems to be based on ancient Roman sculptures of Apollo, but mainly because of the sheer quantity of nudity that was considered unseemly in a papal chapel. Indeed, after Michelangelo died in 1564, another painter, Daniele da Volterra, was commissioned to paint underpants onto the nude figures. Thereafter, Daniele was always known as Il Bragatone, the breeches maker. If I think of more recent critics, I would go along with Kenneth Clark of Civilization fame, who said, "The twist into depth, the struggle to escape from the here and now of the picture plane, which had always distinguished Michelangelo from the Greeks, became the dominating rhythm of his later works. That colossal nightmare, the Last Judgment, is made up of all such struggles. It is the most overpowering accumulation in all art of bodies in violent movement."